Welcome to video 6 of Inktober Writing Edition, where I use my ink to write words instead of creating illustrations. Coming up are days 26 to 31, and if you're new here, you might want to check out the explainer video where I tell you about how I'm tackling this challenge, but the gist of it is that Inktober is usually for illustrators. There are daily prompts and they draw things with ink. And instead, I'm using those daily prompts to do word sprints. This is the final vlog of the challenge proper. And it was a lot of fun. It was also a lot of work. So I'm happy to be moving into the next stage. It won't be happening right away, but we will be doing some more stuff with what was written here. But without further ado, let's check out day 26.
Welcome to Inktober, day 26. This is the beginning of the final vlog video for Inktober. You will be getting 6 days this video instead of 5. It's a little chilly out. It's a little damp out. I did come out while it wasn't raining. I expected it to start raining again, but I'm really crossing my fingers that it stays with the rain gentle and falling straight down. If you see panic begin, you'll know why. As much as I've enjoyed this challenge, I am happy to kind of like see the end in sight. It has been, like, the writing itself hasn't been much of a struggle, but you know, the added having to film myself and then editing and all of that, it has been quite a bit of extra. I think it's all been very worth it. I've really enjoyed it, and I think you guys have really enjoyed it too. There's an airplane going over, and I think you can hear it. My apologies. I am going to turn the regular filter off because it's raining. Hopefully we can get some of that pitter-patter in the background as I write. Man, this plane's just gonna fly over for forever, apparently. Now I'm gonna say I don't care anymore. So we're gonna do a longer write today. I do plan on going to the library at some point this week. I'm not sure what day yet. I was gonna go yesterday on Sunday, but I ended up spending the day socializing and stuff, so I got a little bit of work done while I was like in a VC, and then I played some video game. Oh no, that was the day before. I read a bunch yesterday morning, and then we finished X-Men 67, and then we started X-Men Zombies. We played, or I played some Deck of Pots, which is my current gaming obsession, while in a VC with some people, and then I played Risk for the first time, but it was Lord of the Rings Risk, because that's just what we have. We've had it the whole time. We've just never played it. So I played that for the first time. That didn't sound good. I'll be right back. The cats caused some strife. Hold on. Okay, so the panic ended up not being for rain, just the cats causing trouble. It was nothing big. I forget what I was saying, but I think I was talking about Risk and how I lost epically, but had a lot of fun anyways. Now that I have gabbed about kind of what I did over the weekend, I guess I did a lot of gaming over the weekend. Not that that's a bad thing, but I maybe could have done some more work. But also I do try to work only Monday to Friday. It's just not always possible. Without further ado, 10 minutes on the clock. Today's prompt is puzzling. Oh, Jeebus. And here we go. Okie dokie. So puzzling became confusing, doing puzzles, and mystery. Let me turn the filter back off. Hold on. Let me try again. So puzzling became confusing, doing puzzles, and mystery. Uh, I was immediately drawn to puzzles because I feel like puzzling and confusing and puzzling and figuring out a mystery um, were the more obvious ones. And also, I just felt really drawn to puzzling being used kind of like as a verb to do a puzzle instead. Um, and this was almost another false start. It's not really, but the first paragraph is very like explainery. Um, it is kind of like my style to have this like explainer voice, and that's often how things kind of start off. So like the first paragraph is our main character saying, like every morning I take the time to do a puzzle with my morning coffee. I don't know when this ritual began or why, because I've been doing it for so long, but like that's what I do. And that really feels more like a piece of like outline. Because while I like finished up that paragraph, I was like, I would much rather describe this ritual than say that this ritual exists. But I needed to get the idea of the ritual out first. So I think that's kind of like an interesting discovery writer thing that I'm curious if other discovery writers do that. Because I'm not a discovery writer, I am like middle of the road. And so I wonder if that's like the outliner in me coming through in the forced discovery of using writing prompts in sprints without any sort of planning that happens. So then in the next paragraph, I just start with like, I pour hot water over the coffee grounds. Because, of course, I'm going to base this off of my morning, and I would love to do puzzles every morning, and maybe I could if I followed the way that this main character does theirs. But I just, like, I can't have nice things because my cats are monsters. I love them to death, but, like, I can't like leave a puzzle out, which is kind of how I like to do puzzles. It's just like have a puzzle out on a table, you know, like you're working and you need to get up and stretch, and so you get up, you walk over to your puzzle, and like you find a couple pieces and place them in, and you go back to your work, and it's kind of like this like brain and body break from whatever you're doing. But I can't do that. The cats would eat them. But this person has like one of those puzzle mats and like rolls it up every day and like puts it underneath the coffee table. But the story is like, I don't know what the story is. This is really just a scene from something, and I have no idea like what it would lead into. But this person, you know, wakes up, makes a coffee, throws a frozen muffin into the microwave. I'm assuming they made the muffins or frozen them themselves because that's what I do. And then goes, sits down at the coffee table, pulls out this mat, and then I like describe like what the puzzle looks like and kind of the strategy that our main character uses for doing puzzles, because I think there's a couple of different strategies. And I think that's kind of fun. Yeah, but like this is very much like I don't know what the story around this could possibly be. Like, is it a short story examining like this person's mindfulness practice, maybe? And so like what are the stakes? What's the conflict? Whatever. Um, Obviously that would lead to probably having some great internal conflict. Maybe it's like morning after morning we come back to the puzzle, and so like we're like inside her thoughts while she's doing it, and then there becomes like then there's conflict with the puzzle itself, like there's like a missing piece or something like that. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That would have to be fleshed out, but it was a fun write, I think. And I'm glad I gave myself 10 minutes for this one, because I think at the 5-minute mark, I would have done almost nothing. Yeah, I think that's it. So I will see you tomorrow. Welcome to Inktober Day 27. I've got nothing. I think we're just gonna hop right into the writing. No long spiel today, so hold on, except I didn't get a timer going, of course. Do 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 do. Alright, no long spiel. With 5 minutes on the clock, today's prompt is onion. Okay, so my computer died. I got like one sentence written. So we'll try again. With 5 minutes on the clock, here I go again. Just a sec. Okay. So of course, ogres are like onions. The first things that come to my mind were ogres, cooking, layers, and root. And similar to some other stories, this one started off in that kind of like inside the character's head space rather than like actually with a story, so this probably wouldn't be the best actual beginning to a story, but it is an interesting concept because it's looking at relationships as onions and how like new relationships, like you start with like just looking at the skin, and sometimes the skin is hiding a rotten onion underneath. I don't actually say anything about a rotten onion, but that's kind of what we're getting at, is that sometimes you can tell an onion's bad on the skin. Sometimes you peel back that skin and there's some gross stuff in there. And so that can happen with people in relationships as well. And I also talk about that like weird like third date rule, and how sometimes how like the first date, like you maybe get a glimpse under that like first layer, but it's not really until the second or third date. And then I go on to say, you know, for some people, like removing the skin is removing clothes, but this person is often looking for something much deeper and harder to give away than that, a person's truth, who they really are. And then at the very end of what I was writing, we were getting to what our main character thinks about themselves as an onion. And that their skin is pretty transparent but not without lies, and I'm not quite sure what that means yet. I was originally gonna go with somebody who like wears their heart on their sleeve kind of thing. And I was also thinking about making them like undesirable for some sort of reason. Like undesirable. Because I was thinking like chronic illness or something like that, where like for the most part, people, especially like new relationships, see them in a way that like they don't look any different from another person, but early on in relationships, like this person really tries to put like their best foot forward and kind of suffers for it, um, with like fatigue and extra pain and things like that. I don't know if that's the direction that this would go, but that was kind of what was in the back of my head while I was writing it. I think there's a bunch of different ways that I could go with this, because there was also the idea that uh, I was gonna turn the metaphor into something gory and gross, and have like the final layer reveal be that like this person is a serial killer and like you know. I feel like I shouldn't say that in a video because I feel like though I'm not monetized, it's just like it's not a good look to talk about gore. Although I guess if I'm ever going to talk about horror, which I definitely do and will, we might have to talk about some gross stuff. But for this, you can picture whatever you think I'm talking about, a serial killer and peeling layers back. I think that's it for today, though. So I will see you tomorrow. Welcome to Inktober Day. Welcome to Inktober Day 28. It's, I was gonna say it's dreary today, but the sun came out like as I was setting stuff up to record, so I don't know if it's going to rain some more or get sunny again. It's definitely quite quite cloudy right now, but like the sun was out just a second ago, so we'll see how well lighting stays this way. It was kind of difficult to get lighting to look good, and turning on my light didn't help at all. Um, but I mean, we've seen much worse lighting days. Um, I did miss writing yesterday. Not feeling the greatest. Not feeling the greatest today. Um, I don't know if it's just the weather or if there is a migraine brewing, or if it's who knows. Um, so, oh, see, here comes the sun. um, so I'm honestly surprised that it took this long to miss a day that wasn't like a planned miss a day. Like because I was like out of like not at home or like whatever. Um, so that's pretty good. But also proud of myself for taking that day, and that is part of the reason why I didn't start October 1st, and why I planned to have weekends off, so that I did have a little bit of wiggle room if I did have a migraine or some other illness or emergency come up. Um, I think that's it to set today up. We'll see. Ideally, I have all of my recording done by the end of this weekend. Right now, by pushing it a day, I do have to write on Sunday. So we might get, I might do a cheat and record twice in one day. Probably try to do it like far apart from each other. Do like, you know, one in the morning and one in the evening. We'll see what happens. If I don't have to miss another day, then I don't like it'll just be fine. But to make sure that I get everything posted when I'd like to, I might have to do it. We'll see. Oh, I need a timer. Has there been a single day where I've been like ready with my timer? I feel like there has not. Um, 5 minutes on the clock. Today's prompt is skeletal. Here we go.
Okay, we're here for a voiceover because the leaf blower that you can hear in the very beginning got closer and louder and more annoying. So here we are. The first things that came to mind for skeletal were hand, tree, gaunt face, spooky, and sad. The story is about a meeting at this tree that looks very skeletal, so obviously I went with the tree route. Also the spooky route. I did have like quite a few ideas about what skeletal could refer to. I did like the idea of it referring to a gaunt face versus like an actual skeleton. And it's honestly like all of these things could end up in this story. Like a hand, a gaunt face, it being spooky, it being sad. These are all options because it's about this meeting at a tree, but as the writer, I currently have no idea what this meeting is about. The scene that we get is our main character is at the tree and they're kind of like looking at it with the sun setting behind it, so this like stark difference of the silhouette looks like very spooky. And it's clearly fall because there are only a few leaves left clinging to its branches. But the meeting was set for sunset, and then they kind of muse about the idea that, like, when does sunset actually, like, count? Is it when the sun first touches the horizon? Is it when it's halfway? Is it when it's completely gone and it's dark? So they don't know if they're just, like, early, or then they start thinking like, oh, like maybe I took a wrong turn. But then they examine the tree again, and they even say like, I've already examined it, but I'm gonna look again. And there's like a marking on the tree that tells them that they're in the right place. And so that was just them like calming their nerves again, waiting for whoever they're waiting for. As the coming back like some days later, I still don't really have an idea of what this meeting could be about, or who these people are. So, who knows? I guess kind of like in the back of my mind, the possibilities are like kids meeting, like teenagers meeting, meeting, like the meeting has to happen in this particular place. And there's markings on the tree, which makes it, you know, like that this is like maybe like a regular meetup place, which I think what was in my mind, that they regularly meet here. So maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's a book club. I don't know. Can you go inside this tree? Maybe it's a giant tree that's like hollowed out. You can go inside it. I don't know. I don't know what kind of meeting this could be. But I feel like the fact that there are markings on the tree means that they regularly meet here, which would also, like, why is this main character so anxious? Is this meeting different than usual ones, or do they only meet at this tree when something has gone awry? I don't know. That's something for future me to figure out, I suppose, if I choose to figure it out. I don't think I have anything else to say about this piece. Again, I don't love doing these voiceovers so far after I've written the piece, but it is what it is. So, here is day 29, Jerica.
Welcome to Inktober day 29. We're getting very close to the end. There's today, tomorrow, the next day, and then the initial part of the challenge is done, and then we'll be getting into some reviewing of what I've written. As you can see, we're in a different spot. I don't know, it dawned on me yesterday while I was working on some other stuff, that I like sitting at the coffee table to eat sometimes, but it's not always like it's been like comfortable, but I felt like it could be more comfortable and I wasn't sure what was missing. And then I was like, why am I not sitting on a yoga block? So I tried that while I was working yesterday, and huge fan. I feel like this table is almost the right height for my clickety clacking of the fingers. It's like a little bit high, but like it's comfortable. Now, obviously, the screen is still way too low, but I could, like, run an HDMI cord to the TV, and I feel like that's actually, like, a really good height, and maybe having it at a distance would be good. I don't know. What a weird thing to think. Alright, boys. It's still rainy out, and I still have the intention to try to hit the library before the end of the challenge. I just don't know if it's going to happen. Like I said yesterday, I've been a little unwell with, looming migraine. I don't know. I feel like it's been one of those weird migraines where I don't actually get a headache with it. If you know anything about migraines, you can have a migraine without a headache, and it's weird, especially if you're used to getting a headache. Some people have migraine and they never have headaches. But anyways, that's besides the point. I'm feeling a little bit better today. The weather's still a little off. And here comes a boy. One boy's there and the other boy's right here. Oh, you can see him! I don't know if we've had a video with both boys in it yet. I don't know. What are you playing with? It sounds too small for you to be playing with. What do you got? What is it? Okay, well, it's gone underneath the couch. Iggy, you can sit here, but you have to leave the thing for me. A timer. Let's do a longer one today. I feel up to a longer one, so let's do it, because I think last video, it was all 5 minutes. And I said I would try to get a longer one in, and in theory I was going to do the longer one at the library, but I'll still try, and if I do go to the library, I will do a 10, maybe 15-minute one, because I want to go to the library and get some other work done too, but I don't know, I feel like when I go out, it makes sense to do a longer one. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I think that's it. Kim, you're cute. Iggy, there's no need. He's nowhere near you. Very itchy nose. Okay. I guess that's we're here. With 5 minutes on the clock, today is with 10 minutes on the clock. Today's prompt is lesson. And here we go. Hey. Oh my god, somebody's moving furniture upstairs. Crazy. I'm gonna finish the sentence. Okay. Lesson. Candy, don't eat my cords, please. School teacher and also punishment, like, that'll teach him a lesson. I didn't go that way. I did go with, like, the, like, obvious teacher, school, whatever. And the story that I decided to tell was of our main character being a teacher, teaching the basics of English grammar in a college course for writers. Because this is like it's an interesting class when you have to do the, like, absolute basics of a subject when the subject is the main focus of the overall program. And obviously I went with English and writing because I'm familiar with it. And I did have this experience from, like, the student side of, so the main thing was that, like, the teacher, like, looked out into the class, and when she asked, like, can anybody tell me what a noun is, she could immediately see a split
in the students, between students who this was like way above their head, they had no idea what she was talking about, and the students who, like, they were way above this. They absolutely know what a noun is, and like this is boring as heck. Um, and that there was not really any in between. And I feel like that is very similar to the way that our English fundamentals course was. And what I really liked about our English fundamentals course was that you could like test out of part of the course by getting like a high enough thing on like the basics of how to put a sentence and a paragraph together. You like had to do the very basics, and then you had to do the end one, which was like writing an essay. So like putting everything that you would know about the basics into an essay. But anyways, that's what this was, and I basically used my experience of being a student in that situation to like write the like teacher's perspective. Um, it's it's a story. I don't really know what the purpose of the story would be, but it's kind of like an interesting scene. Like our main character's the teacher, so I don't know if this would be, maybe this would be like a mentor-mentee story where like this teacher like sees a student who they see a lot of potential in or something. Maybe it's a struggling student, maybe it is an excelling student. This is another really interesting experience I had because I was a student who was like top of the class kind of thing. And instructors kind of like realized that. But instructors have to teach to kind of like the lowest common denominator. Not saying that anybody was stupid in our course or anything like that. But like you can't move on unless everybody understands kind of thing. And I remember speaking with somebody in an instructor position who was like, I wish like as an instructor I had the ability to spend more time with the students who were really succeeding as much as I am told to spend time with the students who are struggling. And I just think that's like an interesting thing from an instructor's point of view. Me in that position, I think I would feel very similarly. Not that I don't want to spend time with the struggling students. I think they're deserving of time, but I think all students are deserving of an instructor's time. And I do think that students who are excelling kind of get left behind in a weird way. I think going with the like, that'll teach you a lesson would have been a more interesting story. I just didn't have an idea for it right away. And I wanted to get some writing done kind of thing. That's kind of like the problem with sprints, is that like you want to like get to writing. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time in the idea generation spot. This actually feels very similar to the blunder prompt, where like that was the first one that kind of like stumped me, I said. And like it's not that like it didn't, it felt like it needed a more specific idea, and the idea never came for me. Like a very similar thing happened here, was that like I feel like there is a better story to be told from this prompt, but because the idea wouldn't come fast enough, I had to move on with like a lesser idea. And sometimes you just have to do that. And like, even when you're working on like a larger, like if you're working on a novel, sometimes you're like, this is kind of what goes here and I know that it could be better. So I'm gonna like poorly write this and figure it out later because I'm sure it'll come to me. Or you do that thing where you write like the vague idea of what's supposed to be in this scene, and then you just don't even write the scene. And it's okay to write things that are bad or not poorly formed. Because most of the process of writing something is actually editing and revising, not the writing part. Yeah. Anyways, that's a lesson for you. We've got, what is it, 3 more days? 2 more days?
Today's the 29th day. 29th prompt. So yeah, we got 30 and 31. 2 more days. It's crazy. We're almost done. I mean, done, because we're gonna review all of these. Here's a question for you. I'm planning on doing like a super cut of all of the shorts that have come from this. But I think it would be interesting, especially as like an aid for doing a tier list, having some of the information available about them. So like I'm thinking like genre for sure, but I don't really know what else. I mean, like some of it would be like my excitement about the idea, but I kind of want to save that for like the actual, like I think I want more like technical bits, and I'm just not quite sure what those bits are. So if you can think of something that's kind of like a technical piece, like genre about the piece, obviously like word count doesn't work, especially since I'm not going to count them from like a handwritten place. Like I could give each one a title, like working title, genre, like, and then maybe just like the gist, but the gist will be in the short already. But maybe having it visually accompanying it would be good. I don't know, like I said, if you have any ideas about like what kind of information could like go beside the short in like a long form video, let me know. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, I probably should have started this, and we'll put this at the front. Welcome to Inktober day 30. 30. Okay, we are on our way to the library, but I'm actually gonna sit outside, so I'm, in a sweater. I got hot tea, and I'm also bringing, like, bigger equipment that I brought to the cafe. I'm not gonna be doing it on my phone, I'm gonna be doing it on the regular camera. I might talk if there's, like, nobody else over there, we'll see. But here we go. Okay, so the wind has tried to take us out a couple of times. I don't know how well this is gonna work, but I actually found a spot to sit that's kind of like away from everybody else. And also, I didn't know it was here, so it's kind of nice. You may fall down. And we're just gonna have to deal with that. I do wish this area was upkept better. There's quite a bit of trash over here. Two of the 3 benches are broken. I'm sitting on a broken bench actually, like one of the like bottom bars underneath my computer here is it's gone. But we're just gonna get into it. It is day 30, as I said. Day 30, which means we're very, very close to the end. I know that I said when I was like on site somewhere I would do a longer one, but it is a little chilly out. I am planning on doing a bit of other work while I'm here, but maybe I'll change my mind about that because it is a little chilly. I could also go inside. With 5 minutes on the clock, today's prompt is vacant. And here we... oh, my phone went to sleep. Here we go. You can see the wind trying to take you away. I told you the wind would take you out. Okay, I lied. I'm gonna do 10 minutes. Maybe 15. I'm comfortable now. And also, we've had some mishaps. Alright. I am a little chilly. I wonder if you can hear the kids in the background there. Is that alarming out? I forgot to say that I wasn't planning on wearing the toque, but I knew I should bring it, and I think it was the right call. Okay. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have closed this. First things to come to mind for vacant were lot, hotel, and house. I did go with lot. Not really sure why. Oh, I also had a couple of ideas in my head because originally it was going to be the site of a kegger or something like that, like a bunch of teens at a party on the vacant lot. The cops were showing up. Either way, the cops were going to be showing up, but it very quickly turned into a murder scene instead, and a really gruesome one. I don't know if the chunks will show up in the same places or those specific things, because I do want to put purpose to where the severed limbs and head end up. But yeah, it's basically just cop shows up, detective shows up to the scene. The sun has just risen. I'm scared you're gonna fall again. And this officer that she's worked with before calls her over, and then she says, the detective asks, what do we have? And the officer says, a female dead body. Part of her is here, and then she starts trying to explain the other locations, and but the detective interrupts, is parts, obviously wasn't briefed at all about what she was going into. But yeah, so there's a bunch of parts. Part of her is in a tree, but then the detective notices that it's very clear that the body was placed the way it was, so there's probably reason and purpose to that, and then also reason and purpose to why the pieces are where they are, which is why I don't know if the actual spread will stay the way that it is, because I have to come up with reasons, but I'm pretty excited about this one, so this will probably be top of that tier list. We've got one more story to write tomorrow. Part of me wants to try to write it in the dark with a candle, because it's October 31st, quotation marks. It'll actually be the 27th, I think. But I should be able to do it because it gets dark relatively early, or dark-ish. It's also been relatively overcast, so the cloud cover should help. I could also fake it being dark writing inside, and having a candle as my light. I just think it would be interesting and fun aesthetically to do that. I'm hoping that it'll be something that I can write a horror story about. Maybe I will set myself the goal of writing a horror story, even if it's the most happy and whimsical thing it could be, but I'm also hoping that the creator of the list, the creator of the list thought about the fact that it would be Halloween and maybe tried to skew it towards horror. We'll see. I don't know what it is, but we'll find out tomorrow together, kind of. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow. You're gonna go again. Bye! That was precarious. Obviously this doesn't light me up very much. Let me see. Is that too dark? Let's see what we can do to keep it kind of dark, but I don't want to play with the exposure, because that'll just make the light very bright. Okay. Of course there's a plane going over. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. I forgot to say at the top, so I'll say it now. Welcome to Inktober, day 31. It is the final day of Inktober. I've really enjoyed doing these mostly daily prompts. It's definitely gotten some stories out of me that I wasn't really expecting. Yeah, I don't know. It's given me an idea of some of the directions that I'd like to try writing in, because it's the stories that kept coming out. I'll definitely talk more about that in like a review clip. But how can I not talk a little review-ish in the final day? I did kind of what I said I would do. It's not dark, but the sun is certainly set. And I think it's really nice to be writing by candlelight. I definitely have enough light to see my page, which was a concern of mine. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. Obviously, the actual videography of this isn't going to be great. You're not going to be able to see me very well, but I think it's fun for the vibes of it. I don't know, do I like bring this closer, further away? I should have gotten, ooh, if it's just higher, I feel like it does a better job. A less good job for my page though, so I kind of do need it here. Maybe I'll turn on the light for the final. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just keep the vibes, but we're going to do a longer one for the last one. I have to. I don't know why. It just feels right. So with 10 minutes on the clock, today's final prompt is award. Here we go. Okay. I do think it got even darker. Well, I know I got even darker, so I'm going to turn brightness up a little bit, but I won't ruin the mood by any means. I think that's okay. I'll do this. Ooh, spooky. I won't actually. I will hold it up closer to my face though. So, except now I can't read my page. It's a real problem we've got here. The first thing that came to mind were, for award, were an award show, finish, and accomplishment. Oh my god, there's a lot of people out here. Busy time apparently. I guess it is like dinner time. I guess people like showing up for people who are like having dinner, Sunday night dinner, that makes sense. Award. I went with award show, and like in a matter of seconds I went through a couple of different like award show options, but I ended up going with like an indie film festival kind of like last day award show. And I start with the announcement of and the award for debut indie horror film goes to ... And then we kind of switched to this like stream of consciousness-esque narrator who's talking about how even though there's a large crowd, you could hear a pin drop, and how while there's been a lot of like anticipation and tension for a lot of the other awards, this one felt different. It was one of the only awards where like the crowd didn't really know which way it was gonna go. There's been like, be it for like reasons of like politics and drama on set and things like this, and they're not really giving anything away. And it's very much like you know, the very tropey movie thing of, I bet you're wondering how I got here. Uh, and so they kind of like go on to say, um, like crazy things happened. We don't know who's gonna get it. There could be a riot, even like who like this could be like uproarious. And then they're like, see if you can guess who gets the award by the end. And then they say, first up we have such and such movie, it's called this. And then it kind of switches POV into like going back in time to like follow the production of this movie. And I'll do that like if I follow through with this, the idea is that I'll follow through on like 3 different movies, and make it like you have no idea who is going to get it, because we'll go through like production, things that happened on set, things that happened when the film debuted, things that happen at the festival, kind of like just all the way up to the award show, the final day of the festival, and then rewind to the next movie, and do that for 3 of them, and then finally decide who wins and why and what the outcome of that is. I think there's some tweaking to be done here, but I think it's a really interesting concept, and I think it's kind of fun to play around with that like tropey timeline kind of thing. I think that's kind of all I have to say about it. I'm excited to move on with this project, and it's been a good time, but I was definitely losing steam by the end. I do think month-long things are kind of difficult to do because some weeks I just am better at getting stuff done, and other weeks are harder to get stuff done, and it's not like this is the only thing that I'm doing. But I am excited to make some more stuff around it, go back through all of the stories, do a little review, a little tier list. I have decided on a couple more of those categories I was talking about, because I had more categories in mind when I'd first thought of the idea to like have some information beside the short in like my supercut or whatever you want to call it. But I'd forgotten them by the time I talked to you, I think on day 30. No. I think day 29. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So we're definitely gonna do like genre, POV. I have a little list written down. So, I mean, you'll see it when it happens. Maybe I'll mention it in the actual outro. It's been fun, is what I'm getting at, and obviously people have been enjoying the short form content, so I am gonna find a way to incorporate that style of content into my regular stuff. I don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but I had already had some ideas that I just haven't started doing that kind of fall into that category. And then also maybe just some more like short vloggy type stuff, like day in the life of a writer type thing, and talking about some of the writing projects, because that would also make me work on my writing projects. Because I have a few and I'm always thinking about them, and I am always like taking notes down, but actual manuscript words are at 0. And I was gonna focus on one of them, but now the other, like, there's another one that's just pulling me a lot more, and so the should versus want, the want is winning. So we'll see from here on out. Obviously, you won't be getting a video like this every 5 days or whatever it's been. But maybe like one writing vlog a month or something like that. We'll see. I'm definitely still learning as I go what kind of videos I want to make. Anyways, that's no longer about this. So, here's outro Jerica for the last time for Inktober. For the last time, please let me know if any of my stories or the prompts themselves sparked an idea in you. And of course, while these particular vlogs are over, there will still be more content like this, as well as more about what's gone on in Inktober, so if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have ideas for what you'd like to see me do or talk about in regards to the pieces that I have created throughout the challenge, let me know. We're definitely going to do some sort of tier list. There's going to be a supercut of all of the shorts that have been created, and I'm also going to do a video at some point kind of reflecting on the process. I assume you can hear me over the cat meow, so I'm just gonna leave that one. And for the last time, if you've been writing or drawing or composing or using these prompts in any such way, I'd love to hear how your journey went. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I've had a blast. Catch you next time. Bye. Some review content. Iggy. Iggy.